Welcome to the banter, Dave. That's Hobbsy. Hobbsy, man, we've had a couple weeks off. A
Yes, sir.
lot has happened in the world
Yes.
with entertainment. So
Ooh.
we're just going to start off on that route.
Oh, okay.
As we all have heard, Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, of aka P. Diddy, aka the Diddler, has went and purchased probably $1,000 worth of baby oil or 1,000 bottles worth of baby oil, a lot more, and in some legal troubles.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Ah,
As Bieber said, he lost himself at a Diddy party.
man, people today in the world of entertainment, in ways this doesn't surprise me.
No, 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 not at
I
all.
think in today's world, nothing surprises me anymore.
No.
I know there's a lot of rumors going around, and no one will know until everything comes out of who all involved and who's all done what and who all rubbed themselves down with baby oil with Diddy. Man, I crack up on it. I've seen a lot of the memes, a lot of the TikToks, and everything else. Man, how does I go back to the R. Kelly situation?
Yeah.
And R. Kelly, he did what he did. I kind of go, you know what? I still listen to R. Kelly's music.
Yeah.
Right now, it's going to take me listening to Biggie a little differently at the moment.
I think when I hear take that, take that, take that in the background now, like I'll never not just shake my head and be like, God damn it. Because now, like, yeah, when you think about it, and dude, he says it in every one of those songs too. See here, take that, take that. I'm like, take what? I don't want no. God damn it. So yeah, and yeah, so especially Biggie, man. Like, I mean, Biggie's like essential still. Like, there, I
Yeah.
don't know anybody like if you don't like it, if you're a hip hop person at all and you don't still play some Biggie, and I mean, yeah,
But
shit,
you don't even have to be a hip hop person to
no,
understand. Like
yeah,
Biggie, it was
this is a
uh
just pop
he just
cultural icon.
pop, yeah, a cultural icon.
Yeah,
I've heard Biggie played in country bars.
yeah,
I've heard Biggie played in places I would never thought I'd hear Biggie.
exactly. I
Big
mean,
Papa comes on, it hits at a different level.
oh yeah, you're like, ooh.
You know. Uh
It's funny. I was at work, so the other day at work, guy works there, had his playlist going. We're just kind of, I'm in the other room, like part of the warehouse, and I come in there from on my side, and you know, just kind of getting some paperwork done and getting a bunch of stuff touched up so I can send everybody home. And I'm listening, and all of a sudden, of course, I'm coming home or coming home by P Diddy
uh
is on, and he's and they're listening to it, and I go, just kind of stop myself, and I'm like, God damn. Just walk by. I'm like, oh man. I'm like this, especially a couple of them songs. I'm like, oh no.
well, the biggest I've heard, and it kind of, I mean, this could be big,
Yeah,
and when it's said and done, it take down a lot of musicians, a lot of corporate executives, a lot
yeah,
of politicians.
yeah,
Um, when you hear about what happened, and when you hear names like Usher and Justin Bieber and Jay-Z
yeah,
and Kim Kardashian, and the one that kind of threw me off a little bit because I love her so much, and I hope it's no more than maybe it was a little bit of partaking in some threesomes, was Mary J. Blige.
oh,
I'm a huge Mary J. fan. Love Mary J. Love everything about her.
yeah,
And but this is going to shape entertainment if it plays out the way it does.
yeah, man.
I mean,
you,
actors
you
just
think of all the things the last like what, like the last 6 years. You got the
Yeah.
Weinstein dude, then you got
Yeah.
the dude who hung himself in, I can't even think of his name.
Epstein. Yeah. Epstein.
Epstein, Harvey
Yeah.
Weinstein. Now this, it's it's funny. Like it's not even surprising, and the people that it does surprise, kind of, you almost wonder if they live under a rock, because you're a rich celebrity that everyone either follows or
Yeah.
wants to love, and you know it can't surprise you, because they don't live by the average normal person's rules, and
No.
they don't see themselves as like we do, and you see it with a lot of young celebrities. They don't hide the fact they believe they're completely untouchable, and
Yeah.
that they can do whatever they want and act however they want and stuff. So this is
Well.
not surprising whatsoever at all. That's not who, for some odd reason, I guess when it was Diddy, I was kind of, that's not who I thought it would be. You think of people like,
Uh huh.
it sounds bad because you picture who you would imagine.
Uh
And I
huh.
guess to me, Diddy wasn't one, but then you look at it again, and like over the years, you're like, you know what? Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Well, you know, Cat Williams called it.
He did,
Tw-
man. He ain't been wrong yet. That dude's just let it all go.
2024, 2024, he said everything's going to come out.
He ain't playing,
There's no
man.
more running. And, we're normal guys. We live everyday normal guy lives. You know, we only hear about, what the entertainment world from the news and everything else. And, up there we go.
She saw you. She's like, well, hey.
Who's this Diddy guy you talking about?
Yeah, she's like, what's this Diddy thing?
But, you know, you can only imagine, like he said, more money, more problems. And I go back and say it doesn't matter if you have. I think where I'm kind of going with this is like we hold pro athletes, we hold musicians, entertainers, politicians to a higher standard than
Yeah.
say you or I.
Oh, yeah, for
So,
sure.
and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of freaky people out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of people doing probably the same shit that he's done
Oh, yeah.
and has done, but it's taken differently because he's such a high profile person.
Oh, yeah.
And like it floors me. And I go, you know, just because they're entertainers and they have all this money and they do this and that they don't do normal people shit.
Right?
They're not drug addicts. They're not freaks. They're not.
Right? Exactly. I mean, a lot of them, they're just, because they're celebrities and because they have the money, they're just able to hide it better than the normal person.
Yeah.
You know, you look at some of those, I mean, rock stars, rappers, I mean, big celebrities. Think of, the drug problems come out, obviously, when they
Yeah.
go to rehab, but you can
Yeah.
just look at some of them, at different award shows and different things they're at, they're publicists and they have the money to cover that shit up. But good God, man, I'm like, you
Well,
see them and you're like, you can't tell me they're not strung out or they're not doing some shady shit.
yeah. And I think that what you and I may see is it's so open in the world anymore.
Yeah,
You know, I've as sad as it to say as you see at high school football games or regular youth sports games, parents walking out of bathrooms, cleaning their nose off or
yeah,
out in their cars and partaking into other things.
yeah.
It is, so out there. Everybody doesn't do stuff behind closed doors anymore.
Right.
And I think it's the norm. It's like it's almost the norm to the where it's out in the open.
yeah, people are,
And,
and that's the thing. Sometimes you see people are still so naive to the fact that, like,
mhm,
if you really look around you, if you're a people watcher or pay attention to your surroundings, the stuff you really see that is very out
Exactly.
there and open. It's like right in front of your face, and the whole time you didn't see it if you ain't looking for it. It's like
Exactly.
it's
My
happening all
only
along.
question. My only question is how. Okay, what the hell do you need with $1,000 bottles of baby oil?
Boy, they's getting like he said that, and I didn't know if like he
I
was.
had
I thought
I
maybe
had
he
a
was doing
bottle
like
of
well,
baby oil
yeah,
that lasted me damn near 4 years.
right. And I thought maybe he was like sponsoring like the World Bodylifting Competition or like the Arnold Classic. Like, so they just need to lube up all the guys. Or I thought maybe he was like throwing some WWE events and shit, getting them all ready to rock or something. Like, I'm like, okay, all right. But then I'm like, what in God's name are they doing with all this baby oil? I'm like, what? First off, this is gonna sound bad, and I'm gonna say it anyway. I'm like, why not KY jelly? Why with the baby oil? What the hell's going on here? Like, oh now I just
I-
I'll tell you what, Johnson Johnson's is probably thinking, you son of a bitch, we could have made a lot more money. But yeah, I don't whatever, man. And then the fact, like, if you're Walgreens or CVS or whoever the fuck he's getting that from, how come you ain't saying why you need all this baby oil? You know, like,
Costco,
yeah, you're like,
Sam's,
okay,
Costco. He
yeah.
would.
I'm like, I get, you're having a Diddy party. You're thinking, imagine being the person putting together the list for that party. You're like, all right, like top notch
Well,
liquor, top notch this and that, and all of a sudden you're like, baby oil,
well,
godless amounts of baby oil. I've been like, whoa, what? What?
I
No,
thought the
I'm
same
good.
thing. Why not some KY jelly?
Yeah, I mean, come on now, cheap ass.
Why not?
Jesus,
Why not some Trojan condoms?
right?
You know.
Got poor Beebs over here all fucked up, not knowing what to do
Well,
with himself now.
you know, my biggest question, one of my biggest questions about this is we had one of the biggest party mansions out there in Hugh Hefner and the Playboy Mansion. And you don't mean to tell me that some of the stuff that was going on in this Diddy stuff didn't happen on the old Hugh Hefner's Playboy Mansion.
Well, with the old grotto, oh, like, and that's the thing. That's why you know, it
Because if
different
if
time.
yep, if
You
you
know,
remember, a lot of these young models at the time that were in the spreads
yeah,
were just barely legal.
yeah,
And
and
how many of those were on the cusp of, you know, being 18, 17, 18, 19, I even go as low as saying 20,
right,
because 20 isn't considered an adult. It's still under the minor category.
right,
And hey, you've had Playboys, I've had Playboys. We've all seen the centerfolds, we all saw. But when we were looking at them, we were in that 16, 17,
yeah,
18,
yeah,
19-year-old, young 20s ages, you know. And I had a subscription. I'm sure a lot of guys had a subscription. And you mean to tell me that the stuff that has come out about Diddy wasn't happening, or things weren't partaking at the Playboy Mansion the same way?
well, it was, man. Like now, and Diddy. It comes to light with Diddy. Like I said, you look over the last 4 or 5 years, all the stuff that's came out. It if you don't look back and question, just like you just did there, what was going on at the Playboy parties or like
Mm-hmm.
any of that type stuff. And it's kind of funny because you can liken it right back to sports. You look at when steroids came to light.
Yep.
I mean, you mean to sit here and tell me, oh, we didn't know. You're like,
Yeah.
you didn't notice, these
Mm-hmm.
5'11", 175 pound dudes were 5'11", 218 pounds the next year and accidentally hit 65 bombs or 57 home runs. It's the same thing, man. Like I think now again with the social media and people's insistence on getting into every single thing, and everyone's
Business.
able, yeah, and then everyone's able to be in a way, a modern technology investigator, should I say?
Uh-huh.
And
Yep.
the access that so many people now have figured out how to get on the internet and to find, you know, buried articles that might have brought stuff to light that kind of got, you
Yeah.
know, over the years kind of got shoulder shrugged, that are now like, a long time ago. God, look, I mean, look at, if you haven't seen the new Vince McMahon documentary,
That's
and
I
just,
was gonna
yeah,
go there here in a
we'll
minute.
go there. Yeah, I figured so. Just lawsuits in general that have been like kind of handled and disappeared, or like just pushed under the rug, or years have went by and they get forgotten and stuff.
Uh-huh.
This, it's, I think once it comes to light, you can't, the Diddy thing, you can't not question the Playboy Mansion now. You can't not question what was going on there with all of those actors and celebrities and
Rock
everything going on.
stars.
Yeah, I mean,
It,
it's I'm sure this has been running rampant through Hollywood and the music industry, and anybody that's rich, powerful, and feels bulletproof forever. Like,
mm-hmm.
I bet this has been going on. And again, you know how human nature is, we pick and choose what we're naive to. And I find it,
Yeah.
when it comes to celebrities and stuff, we tend to either be absolutely radical extreme about finding out everything about them, or we're all very naive depending on if we like them or not. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you've listened to Diddy and you love Diddy music, as well as I do, you're going to be probably more naive to hearing this than someone that's
You
like,
go you're gonna listen to it a little bit closer now.
yeah, yeah, you're going to be like,
Yeah.
but then you're
You're
like,
gonna listen
well,
to it a little differently also.
yeah, exactly. And I think, with all of this kind of stuff, it's like once it gets exposed, there it is. It's obvious that Diddy will probably be joining R. Kelly here shortly and pleading their
Yeah.
case, and you know, this is what happens. You obviously, the world is a much different place, but yes, for sure, there's no way this wasn't happening before. You hope that for the victims of all of this, you hope that they get some kind of vindication or something
Oh,
for
agree.
whatever
I
they can.
I agree. You know, his first wife that passed away, apparently she had her memoirs were released as a book or something,
Hmm.
and Kim Porter, and a lot of people, that's kind of how apparently everything kind of all started,
Yeah.
kind of with the sexual acts, even like as far as, that's what I said, Mary J. Blige, names like I'll Be Sure, a bunch of R&B artists and musicians and things like that. Um, a lot of people have said, want to know, is this book for real, or is this book just been put out there by her publicist or whoever it was, just so it kind of comes to light and brings more stuff down on Diddy? Because she's been passed away for some time, and I mean we've all seen the video of what he did to Cassie, uh, running her down, and you know I when I saw that, I am not one to downplay violence towards women. Men, going at women, I think that's the biggest bitch move ever. The fact that he chased her down, and it looks to me like she was trying to escape something. He throws her down and then kicks her, a defenseless woman. That's just cowardly. A lot of bitch assness to that. And then that right there, now on top of everything else, you he's going to get what's coming to him. Uh, I know he's been put under suicide watch. I said it myself. If he disappears, then of course you have your conspiracy people out there saying, "Oh, this is just uh to draw you away from something else and yada yada yada.
Exactly. Just
But
like they just made the hurricane.
yeah,
Yeah, they just made the natural disaster to fucking take out all of, you know,
which
half of North
what
Carolina and Tennessee and stuff.
which is absolutely, man, they, the damage that is going on with that is crazy, man. And my wife made a comment. She said, we talked about retiring and go, how people retire down to Florida and then going to these out to the coast and all that stuff where it's warmer and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't know if I want to take a chance to retire out there now.
Well, and it's funny you say that. Me and Ash were talking, and that's kind of always been one of our plans. Is when the
Yep.
kids are gone to head to North Carolina, like Wilmington, North Carolina area, and
Yeah.
now you see this, and her and me were both kind of like, and I'm like, and she knows I love the mountains and stuff. I'm like, now you know why I like to go in the cold this way. I'm like,
Well,
I'll take my chances with an avalanche
and
before I take my chances
I,
with a flood.
I switched things up because, of course, I said, you know what? Been to Florida,
Mm-hmm.
it's hot and it gets humid. And they got too many things like gators and the bugs and everything out there. I don't want to deal with that.
You got Mirror
And then
Largo
I
too.
thought,
I
well, I
ain't
don't want
trying
to
to
deal
deal with
with
that.
hurricanes either.
No.
And I'm not in, then I said, well, what about Texas? Go down to Texas, it gets a little warm. I said, okay, kind of stays balanced. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to the Pacific Northwest.
There you go. There you go.
It's going to be, it doesn't get frigidly cold as much as people think it may.
Nope.
Yeah, you have the rainy days and yeah,
Yep.
it's all that. And I said, and then on top of it, they got apparently some good weed up there.
Yeah, yeah. They probably produce a better strain.
You got Nike
Yep.
and some good weed.
You
What all do
got
you need?
you got a whole different kind of ocean. You have,
And Starbucks.
yep, and probably the most free spirited, open minded, probably people you'll ever encounter. And
Yep.
I swear, like if you've ever, and you know this, like it's funny, like when you meet a Midwesterner that's just a Midwesterner that's never been anywhere else, and then they meet someone from like the West Coast and like the
Mm-hmm.
swag and just kind of how they are, and
Yeah.
like they're kind of like, but then like they also are. It seems like they're like technologically advanced and like
Oh yeah.
have stuff so much faster than the Midwest does. So then you hear them and they're like, "What the hell are they talking about?" I'm like, they get stuff over there figured out a little faster than we do. It
Yeah.
gets that side first, It comes straight off the boat, gets over there first.
Yeah.
Then we get it over here. A couple years later, they decide to bring it to us if they decide to share it.
But going like you kind of went the way I was gonna say, going from Diddley or the Diddler, yeah,
Take that, take that,
and
take that.
going on to what has been a big Netflix miniseries,
Yeah.
that wrestling geeks like myself and yourself
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of other people notice because of the stories that's come out about him is old Vincent Kennedy McMahon. What are your takes on that series?
I binge watched that.
I
Like,
did too.
I was ready for that, and it is. It's exactly what I expected. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not shocked at all. Like, not
yeah,
even a little bit. And if it needed to hammer home, you had the you don't know the real me, you don't know the real me type stuff, or you know,
yeah,
you see who kind of who I want me to be.
uh-huh.
When to me when it hammered home the most to me is when all of the wrestlers said that's exactly how he is,
Yep,
and then Cena said I'm not the guy to ask.
yes,
As soon as Cena said I'm not the one to comment on that,
yeah,
I'm like, for some odd reason, like of all the wrestlers, of everybody they had on there, to me, I've always felt like Cena probably just seems like the most like morally upstanding one of them
yeah,
out of all of them. Lord knows Hogan's had his issues. You know, The Rock didn't really say much. Stone Cold agreed with it, but Stone Cold's had his issues. You never really hear anything about
you
Cena.
know.
And I'm like,
the it was Cena's comment was that, and when the Undertaker kind of deferred the comment as well.
yeah, it was, those two especially. You're like,
And when you have especially the Undertaker and Cena, who are both said that was their father figures.
yeah,
That was who they looked up to as father figures, and their
yeah,
reactions to it.
yeah,
Um, I I go back, and part of it that really kind of intrigued me because it's that vicious cycle of what everybody talks about, and he talked about his stepdad abusing him and stuff like that, and how that out. If you've ever partaked or you ever studied abuse or sexual abuse or anything like that, how if you look at how it plays out, it's always was brought onto that person some way somehow by someone in their family, anything like that.
yeah,
So, and it kind of makes them who they are.
yeah. Say
So,
it becomes part of them.
and and it becomes a part of them. And as they get older, if they don't get the help, if they don't get the counseling, they start doing the same things onto others.
Exactly.
Um, I probably like you. I wasn't shocked for what I saw. Um, you know, uh, the part I the part I did at the very beginning is Hulk Hogan. I If you're not a big Hulk Hogan fan, and if you look at it from maybe the way I was looking at it, is it makes me don't care for Hulk Hogan even more. Hulk Hogan is about Hulk Hogan,
Oh yeah, Hulk Hogan was always about Hulk. Yeah,
and
Hulk's
he
definitely a me guy.
definitely came off as him being how people in the company thinks he's just as big as an ass as anything else.
Yeah,
And it. I've always said he's probably even though it's the big draw, he was the most overrated wrestler in my eyes to ever be in the business, and
exactly.
that says a lot because there's a whole bunch of them.
Oh yeah,
But
with
uh,
Hogan, it was the first. He was the first like larger than life. You had Andre,
yeah,
but Andre could barely speak English. You couldn't
yeah,
understand him. Andre was an attraction, but Hulkster was a celebrity. So
yeah.
they were able to push that.
But when you heard Shane speak, you know,
Yeah.
and then you heard God dang it, what's her name?
Steph.
Stephanie.
Yep.
Yeah, when you heard Stephanie speak, and even you heard Linda speak, I praise that woman.
Right. Yeah.
When he even came out himself and said, "I'm this way," and I was, this person, that person, this person,
Yeah.
and the fact that she stayed with him for as long as she did and
Yeah.
was a part of the company for what she did, like it made me really go is yes, he built this huge business and he swallowed everybody else up. And I don't, like that part, go getter, all that stuff, but man, goes along the lines of Diddy.
Yeah.
That you don't know what's going on behind those closed
Yeah.
doors.
And
And
you think about it, there's a lot of people pretty similar with power like that are pretty. I'm not gonna say it, but are pretty behind closed doors, shady as fuck.
yeah.
That build monopoly empires and stuff and get a
Uh-huh.
odd following that you just can't understand. But
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there. We won't get into that. Uh, yeah, man, it's nuts. That I thought they did pretty good with it. Like I think, you know, I know he put out his press release and stuff on his thoughts on it, but I don't see Vince from especially from seeing that and everything. You and me have been wrestling nerds for a long time, so you expected a Vince saying, "Oh, it was portrayed this way, and I'm not," blah blah blah. And at this point, like there's too much evidence that says otherwise.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, none of the wrestlers what they did say, like all of them to me, even Michaels, Shawn Michaels, like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, there was the father figure references, and they talked about his businessman and how
Hmm.
how he knew about the business and stuff, but you didn't hear a whole lot of them other than fucking brother love there at the end, really like support his character or him as a person, like
Yeah.
genuine,
Yeah.
you know. And I thought it was awesome that they had Bret Hart on there because that gave you a whole different perspective of
Yeah.
how that relationship's been over the years. So my thing, my whole question was is when all this was going on and all these lawsuits and stuff, as Stephanie got older, like, did you not know? Did you know? Where were you on it? You have daughters yourself, like you and Hunter have kids. You
Yeah.
have daughters. That's their grandpa. Like
You know,
they're getting old enough to know. And then when she stepped down, I almost wonder to this day, and I hope someday like they cover what happened. But I
yeah.
almost feel like at that point she'd said, "All right, enough's enough. I'm done with this. Like
Yeah.
I can't no longer
I
be a part of this."
I think what, as you go back and, we talked about Diddy and the underage and, we talked about the Playboy match and all that stuff. When you hear and it's like in that series and you talk to Stephanie and how she was young.
Yeah,
And she was, when she kind of got brought into it, she was, early 20s.
yeah,
And to be put out there, portrayed the way she was,
right.
and and you would go, man, that's your daughter. Like you don't. I'm sorry, man. I have a little issue with putting my daughter on TV and having her smacked around or being called a whore
Yeah,
and all that. And I get it, business is business, and you're trying to make money. You get a pop out of it,
right.
and all that stuff, but just the disrespect that she kind of took. And I give it to you, like she's one of the most stronger, powerful businesswomen out there.
Mhm.
But it's like her. I'm always curious of why she did step back, and now she's kind of back in.
Yeah,
And it's same with Linda. Is
yeah,
she kind of faded away? You never heard from her again.
yep.
And then it's like, what do you know?
Hmm.
What is that? What was going on behind closed doors? And as you know, and I know, the more money you make, the more things like that, you try to keep this image of family,
Yeah.
of everybody's okay, but they're not.
No,
I mean,
exactly.
we're seeing it play out in our eyes every day in the news media.
Right.
So
Well, and
I thought it was good.
it was.
Uh, I think the best is when Tony Atlas said he touched my pecker
You touched my pecker.
when he was talking about not Ben when he was talking about
Old dude.
the
Yep. Pat Patterson.
yeah. Yeah, Pat Patterson didn't touch my pecker.
He touched my pecker. Yeah, yeah. It's crazy, man. You think about those guys too, and like you look at how that is and how much they travel and stuff. It's like a traveling fucking circus.
It
So
is.
like, yeah,
I
again, none of that can be surprising. The wrestling
and
world is not exactly what you call the poster of classy over the years.
yeah,
So
and I think what amazed me kind of the most out of it though is when they were talking about how us as fans and we see and they talked about kind of the steroids and they brought into the CTE thing and they talked about that and then they had talked about how we as fans kind of when wrestlers have passed away that it's almost we treat them like soap opera stars where yeah, they're dying in real life, and we just kind of say, "Oh, it's like a character in a soap opera dies off, and you just move on."
yeah,
And that's kind of how it is. But I've always said, so wrestling is a male version of a soap opera. It's a And so I never when I heard that comment in that, I was like, man, that's true.
Yeah.
And then when you tie into, and I'm sure maybe you've seen it like the dark side of the ring,
Hmm.
and you know they talk about a lot of the characters that
Yeah.
were in WWE at the time, and the Chris Benoit's and the stuff like that who have
Yeah.
passed away, and man, it's crazy to hear, and it's just like how it same with baseball, but he
Yeah.
brought in the steroids himself.
Yeah.
How it was just kind of brushed away.
Hmm.
Take this so we look bigger, stronger, we do this and that. And it's like not realizing that you're messing these people's lives up.
Right. Yeah. For
It,
sure.
it's crazy. It's real crazy.
It is for sure. And you think about
But
it, man. Like I think too with like the wrestlers and stuff like that. Like as fans or anything, you can carry on a memory of a wrestler any way you want to, but like
mhm,
it's hard. It's hard for to get behind. You miss the wrestler, like you hate
yeah,
that they died and stuff, but like it's hard to carry on a memory of like even if he had CT or stuff like you can't carry on Benoit's memory.
no,
Like you can't really you can't honor the man, obviously.
no,
Uh, all of the ones that committed suicide, like you feel terrible for them, and it's tragic because
hmm
you know that there were things probably that had a lot to do with it. But and you can remember them and stuff, but like it's nothing. As a fan, like it's much like a sport athlete. Like we'll always remember, especially the great ones and the legends,
hmm
and you can commemorate them on T-shirts, hats, you name it.
yeah,
Collect their sports cards, have something of them. But as a fan, you can only do so much. It's like but it's and especially with stuff like that, the road goes, the show goes on. So like
yeah,
as fans, yeah, we move on to the next one because I mean I don't mean to sound insensitive, but there's only so much you can do,
yeah. And
and
life goes on,
yeah, and it's
and
hard to
it's
honor. And some of it, the ones that died, passed away like tragically or in ways that you know, are normal, it's easier to like honor and they carry on the shows. They keep them on there and like you see the t-shirts and people like,
uh-huh.
but then the ones that, did some shady shit or shitty shit, it's hard to really, and it's funny how that works, man, but it's, that's wrestling, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's
And
wrestling.
that's exactly what it is. But man, it's like that's going on, that's going on. What we got going on sports wise?
Ooh,
Welcome to the playoffs.
limped in there. Limped in there. Think it think they made Vinny's probably the most excited fellow on the earth. Got him limped in there.
I've never seen a losing streak get you into the playoffs, but somehow,
I'll tell you what, I
uh,
never
I
the twin.
know we're a day before we release this, but come tomorrow, I do have a complaint.
What's
You
that?
wonder why Major League Baseball is failing. Is how are you going to have playoff games at 3 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yeah, they don't exactly go out of their way to make it must see TV, do they?
No, they don't,
No, they
and
make it pretty complicated.
that so irritating.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it's to have that, and it's like it's crazy. Like what is you know
I don't.
I don't get why the MLB is doing that.
I hate it. Like I honestly got hate. I hate it every year. Like
Yeah,
especially trying to especially if you're working, you can't access a TV or you're not in a position where you can do that. It's
yeah,
it's annoying as shit. You know, I
yeah,
just I don't understand why they do that. They're not competing with anything. I mean, I know tonight
yeah.
you have Monday Night Football, but
But
like
yeah, Tuesday
tomorrow
you
you've
have
got
nothing.
nothing. Wednesday
Wednesday
you've
you
got
have
nothing.
nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Thursday Night Football, whatever. I mean, I
yeah,
I don't know. I would have it on 4, 5, and 9 on fucking 7 p.m. time slot of every one of them getting it on.
yeah.
You know,
Like,
but
and
that's just me.
that's my take, and I don't get that. It's like why my biggest beef is, and I've said it all along, is we have a commissioner who it, I don't think cares about the fans.
No, he's a rube, dude. I don't like
He's
that guy. I don't like him at all.
you know I as a Royals fans, we have to you can't stream them unless you get it via Apple TV or free.
Yeah.
If you got something like YouTube TV, you can't stream them. You have to have direct TV or a basic cable.
Yep.
I'm not paying the cost for Bally's,
No. Hell no.
which is, you know, I find it stupid that you get the MLB app and people pay for that, but all the games in your area are blacked out.
Right, because of their exclusive rights with blah blah blah. It's just fucking a
Yeah,
money grab. It's so
it's
stupid.
it's dumb. You lose fans that way.
Agreed.
Um, it's like, and then I saw the release and I was thinking, okay, you know, get to watch a little baseball in the evening, watch the Royals playoff series. And then I saw the schedule and it was like 3 o'clock.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay, maybe not.
What, like someone like myself who works from where I work is easy to turn on the TV, have it going and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
people who actually work in offices that can, or warehouse jobs that can't see it, or
Ugh.
delivering and stuff can't see it because they're out doing stuff,
Right.
makes absolute no sense to me.
No, exactly. And that's the majority. If you think about it, the majority of people that work, you know,
Yeah,
still are in a situation where A, they're not off by 3 o'clock, and if so, B, or they don't have access to, radio or television. Then if they do, yeah, exactly. They don't pay an extra $25 or whatever it is to listen to it, stream it, this, that, because it's ridiculous that you should have to. Like
yeah,
it's the local, and that's the frustrating thing about the Royals this year is, I know a lot of fans and like people have been like, hey man, the Royals are in the playoffs and they're not getting any hype or publicity. It's like, okay, well, on the other side of that, yes, the Royals are in the playoffs, but fucking 80% of the people around here haven't got to fucking watch them the whole season.
yeah,
So it's kind of
absolutely.
hard to get as hyped as you want to or anything because unless you follow baseball, if you're like any fair weather fan or the Royals fans from
Yeah,
the playoff World Series years before that jumped on there at the end, you know, 90% of people probably don't even know who half the fucking Royals are.
I
Like,
I
so,
totally agree. I think what also has not helped, especially in the Kansas area, is what went on at the beginning of the year with the
yep,
stadium drama.
left some
I
shitty
think,
taste in people's mouths.
yeah, it left a shitty taste in people's mouth. I think, but the true fans, the fans have been around, and I've always said this when it comes to sports in Kansas City, we have a lot of fair weather fans.
Oh,
Uh, I think Kansas City is about supporting winners and winners only. And, we've been spoiled by the Chiefs. Uh, I think what happens is, yes, baseball is no longer the pastime of America.
no,
It is
it's
football is now
football.
taking over.
Yeah,
Um, we have been fortunate to see what 3 Super Bowls now. With Patrick Mahomes trying to get three-peat and stuff going on. The Royals are just 9 years ago, when the last time they were in the playoffs. When you think about the young fans, I mean, my boy is in 13, so he was, at the time 4. Was he truly watching baseball 4 years old when that happened? Has no clue.
right.
He can barely tell me who anybody else is on the team, minus Bobby Witt and Selby.
That's the thing is like damn near no one can tell you anybody that's on the team
Yeah,
except Bobby Witt and Salvi.
yeah,
Like, and they got a good group of grinders. Uh,
yeah,
it's great that they're in the playoffs and stuff. Like I said, they limped in. I love seeing them in the playoffs. I'm excited that they're there.
Yeah.
But I think I mean
I would.
I'm as guilty as anybody. Baseball is my favorite thing in the world, and like I've kind of limped into it. Kind of, I got so frustrated with them
Oh,
to
that was
like,
the hard part.
yeah, like I
How did
got,
you come and be what? It was tied
yeah,
or half game back,
yeah, and that Cleveland
and
series,
then
like,
lose like 8 of the next 10?
yeah, I got so frustrated. I wanted them, and I'm like, I'm glad they limped in. I'm also praising Jesus for the absolute. I don't know what
Demise
the
of
hell happened to
Minnesota.
the Minnesota Twins, but the epic collapse of all collapses, like pulled an Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl situation type deal. Just,
Yeah.
I am thank God for that. But
Hey.
I like to see. I think it's cool that the Central is so well represented.
Yep.
So because
Small
I
market
mean
baseball.
I don't. Yeah, exactly. I don't love Cleveland. I don't love the Tigers. I mean I love my Lions, but I'm not a big Tigers guy. But it's
Yeah.
nice to see. It's just crazy to see like small. Yeah, the little guys are all getting in there. But then of course, what happens the year the little guys get in there? The two monster squads are monstering at the right time.
But it always about who's playing hot.
Yep. There is that.
And unfortunately, if it plays out of who's the hottest in baseball right now, and the way I look at it is you could have a Tigers Padres
Yep,
World
exactly.
Series
Yes, you
because
could.
they are two of the hottest teams going in right now.
Yeah, they're fly. They're
Um,
playing good baseball.
you
I
know,
never thought I would say that. The Tigers and the Padres. What?
now it probably won't happen, but they are two of the hottest going in right now.
Yeah,
Uh, I know there's what the Mets and the Braves going on right now to see who kind of if the Diamondbacks get in, who
right.
actually were playing good too, but kind of shot themselves in the foot.
Out the gate of the year, man. They've had to get. I mean, Lord knows what a second half though.
Uh, I saw the rotation of what's to come for the Royals,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the playoffs, anything can happen.
Exactly. I mean, they
3 game series, anything can happen.
on paper,
Yeah.
they're rolling into an ass whipping. But if you look at the backside of the season,
Yeah.
neither one of them were awe inspiring.
No.
Like the Royals weren't good, the Orioles weren't good. There
Nope.
at the end of the year, I mean, the talent's there. Don't get me wrong. Like that's a loaded squad, but you know, you play good defense, and we can figure out how to muster a couple runs while they're struggling, and we're all right.
Yeah. That
I would love to see them knock off the Orioles.
I would too. And then
I
I
think
would
it'd be
love to see
cool.
him knock off the Yankees.
I would love to see anybody knock off the fucking Yankees.
Well,
But god
you
dang,
see
man.
that's where old baseball purist
Mm-hmm.
will complain about the format because you're giving the one of the two of the hottest teams to say the Dodgers and the Yankees who are playing real good baseball
Yeah.
time to sit at home and cool down when you get guys who are playing and come in and absolutely hate it.
Right.
And they want to complain about it, but I think that was a good move on widening the playoffs in baseball. It
Yes.
brings I mean, look at the Diamondbacks last year.
Mm-hmm.
They don't make the playoffs, 10 years ago.
No, hell no. They're
You know,
just they're just a good
in the
team that
way the
didn't get
form
there.
yeah, they don't get there. So Fall Baseball Classic is back in Kansas City. I had to wear my 2000 or not 2000 1985 uh yep, World Series
There you
side
go.
patch Royals hat to commemorate what is going to happen on October 1st. I'm hoping they have. Let's get by round one. Take it round by round. Let's see what happens.
I'll tell you what, I don't know how this always happens. I wish I'm God damn them. But the Astros, how? Like, they were dead to rights
What
at the All-Star break, I thought. I'm like, these guys they're done.
was
And I'm
like,
like, oh,
what
look,
happened to Seattle?
yeah. Oh,
What happened to Texas? What happened?
yeah, them boys just, I don't know. I'm not sure what, yeah. Collapse everywhere.
Like, how did you let Houston come back in that division?
Well, Texas' problem is you got $18 trillion wrapped up in pitchers that can't fucking throw a pitch without going on the DL because they're 90. I mean, don't get me wrong, some of the nastiest stuff in the world, but you can't get DeGrom back for 2 weeks and think
No,
that's going to do any good. Then as soon as you
no.
get, you got poor Maxie, God bless him. And then Kumar Rocker, who I thought disappeared off the earth for a minute. I'm like, oh, it's about time. Welcome back there, bud.
I tell you what, he was should have been Paul Skeens before Paul Skeens.
Exactly. I mean, and a lot of people had he not got hurt and knew who the fuck, like in college, or knew who the
Yeah,
hell he was. I'm like,
yeah.
we've seen this before. He
Hey,
just got
what people
derailed
don't
quicker.
if you watch college baseball when he was coming out,
Yep.
that 1-2 punch between him and Al Leiter
Oh,
and down there in Vanderbilt, them boys were bad.
yeah. Them Vandy boys were.
They were tough.
They rocked the sick jerseys and shit too. That was a nasty combo that year.
Well, playoffs, man. Another Kansas City, of course. The Chiefs going on injuries. I haven't heard. Before we went on, any other news about Ray Rice, or not Ray Rice, but Rashee Rice, Ray Rice is get taken out at the knees.
Right. Yep. Right. Man, I don't.
Rashee Rice. I know the last report was I think he's out for the year, torn ACL.
Yeah. What a fucked up play too, man. Like it's really unfortunate. Like, I love that. First off, I hate that Patrick throws a pick there.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's far too been the case so much. All right, this year, like more than ever. I hate that. I love the fact that Patrick goes to try to make a tackle, but I also hate the fact that Patrick puts himself in danger of getting injured.
Yep.
And B, exactly what happened there is what happened. You have wide receivers and quarterbacks making tackles or trying to make tackles, and incidents like that happen, which is fucking awful. I know there's going to be a lot of assholes out there that say, all karma for Rashi, but let's not get into that. That's not how that works.
The whole thing about Rashee Rice is this, and people, with social media and everything, it gives people, it's easy to talk shit behind the keyboard.
Exactly.
Dude, we're all young. We all make mistakes. We all do stupid shit.
Exactly.
Yes, there's something. I'm not like condoning what he did, but the kid did something stupid.
Right.
It's when you give young kids money,
mm-hmm.
You come from not having money.
Yep.
You get out there, man, you make dumb decisions. It's just how it goes. It's just the way it is. I'm sorry. If I'm 19 years old, 20 years old, 21 years old, and you give me, $2.5 million. Yep. I don't know what his contract is or anything like, but you give me over $1 million.
Yep.
Me and my friends are doing stupid shit.
Exactly. And as a parent, if you're, it's easy to say that kind of, like you said, when you're behind the keyboard, it's easy to talk a lot of shit like that. But as a parent, if it was your kid that did that and gotten some shit, you'd be the first one there to defend them and say, I love them anyway. And kids make mistakes. So because he's in the public eye, because he's a celebrity, of course, he takes a fucking heater there.
Like I said earlier, pro athletes, entertainers, musicians are held to a higher standard.
Exactly. So
I get it, but Charles Barkley said it best. I am not your kid's role model.
Exactly. You know,
Not a role model.
you want role models, start finding people that change the world in good ways.
Yeah.
They'd say that, but or your parents.
But
You know, why not?
the fact that they're pulling out victories,
Dude,
you
yeah.
know, we
Against tough
lose.
teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isaiah Pacheco, he's out until about at least November.
Mm-hmm.
Um, now Rashee Rice, but
Hollywood's gone.
Hollywood's gone for the season.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Kelsey is not playing up to par. Mahomes is not playing up to par. I will tell you like this: Chris Jones has earned his paycheck because he said, "Get on my shoulders. I'm going to carry you all to victory." Yesterday,
Hey, and he did it.
that man said, "Fuck it, I'll do it,"
Yep.
and he went out there and did it. When we needed him, he was on Herbert like white on rice.
Man, and
Like,
that's it's a testament to Veach and Andy. So like what they've built there, and it's the mindset. Like you know as well as I do. Like a champion's mindset. People talk about a champion's mindset, and like there's so many different ways to look at it. But like like with small towns and shit, when they all come together, they always say it takes a village and
mhm,
stuff.
yep,
Well, a champion's mindset takes the whole team.
yeah,
And what you have
I
there
agree.
is you have what you've built there with one, you're lucky
Uh huh.
that players like such come along, and the fact that three of them are there still, and you have an older one in Travis, you have Mahomes, and you were lucky enough to get Chris Jones as well, and you have the three of them to pretty much say at any point, like even when two of them are
Yeah,
playing bad, you can have Chris Jones say, "Get on my back, and I'll carry you." And in the early stages of this, when the defense hadn't got to where they were at yet, Travis did the
yeah,
heavy lifting, then Patrick's done the heavy lifting, Chris does the heavy lifting. Now you've got these young kids, man, that they're seeing this and they're buying all into it. The linemen,
yeah,
you Trent McDuffie,
yeah,
Bolton. I mean, you've got
yes,
you've got these kids that are so young, but you can see it every.
yeah,
We're in year three of a couple of them. Drew Tranquil that just fit the mold to come in here. Leo
yeah.
Chanel, who when he first came in, no one knew he was going to be a starter like that,
And,
and they all buy into the system, and the experience is there. Like
and then
there's
they
not a
and
whole
then they go re-sign Hunt.
exactly. They know
He go
it's
ahead.
like exactly. So like Hunt's a perfect example. They know Beach somehow it's nuts. It's like they always know how to get the absolute best out of
Yeah,
someone, even if the media's against it or they say he's that washed or this and that. They squeeze the life. They get
yeah,
the absolute best that anyone has left. Jarrett McKinnon,
yeah,
uh, Sammy Watkins.
yeah.
I mean, the list goes on and on. They have
I mean, it's gonna be. We're gonna like. I look at it now. Like Juju, I have a feeling he's gonna
Juju.
step up.
Yeah,
He's gonna
Juju.
step up. You
I
know.
have no doubt that Juju, when they call Juju's time, Juju will
Yeah.
do his thing. And they're winning. Like, people can, and that's the thing about the Chiefs. It's funny. People can talk all the shit they want, but
Hmm.
the gauntlet of talent that they've already had to go through.
Yeah.
I mean, good God, man! The
And you,
Ravens, who just
they.
fucking steamrolled the Bills out the gate. They just fucking boat raced the Bills. The
um,
perfect complete team.
I'm sorry that I still am behind the Josh Allen.
There's something about him, man. I'm the same way. I think he might win the
I
NFL MVP this year, and I still think at the end of the day, he still ain't going to win a Super Bowl.
no.
You look at
Um,
the Bengals Super Bowl every year is the Chiefs.
yeah.
They play shitty against everybody else. They will put their entire everything they got into beating the Chiefs,
Uh-huh.
and We handled that. The Chargers came
Yeah.
into the game with like the number 2 defense in the NFL.
And they came
And
in
they
on
weren't
fire.
yeah, and they weren't playing around like and to shut
It
J.K. Dobbins completely down like
it is like we sit back and I don't know, it's like last year. It's everybody complaining what the offense was doing.
yeah.
And my big take on it was it's like you have a team that has it all.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, okay, let's just kind of fuck around and see what little things we could do.
Yep.
Let's bide our time to get into the playoffs. And then when they got to the playoffs, they're going to say, now we're going to show you who we truly are. And they did.
Yeah.
They took the absolute best of the best. And I think San Francisco was absolutely probably the second best team
Oh
by
yeah.
far and had the defense. They had the offense.
Oh yeah.
They are to me a mirror image of what Kansas City has.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they had the weapon. And what happens? They took blow after blow.
Yep.
And when they see they're down, I said, man, I said, they're like Rocky.
Yep.
They were in the game. And whenever you saw Rocky, he's always sitting there, he's taking the hit after hit, and he starts telling me, come on,
Yep.
and keep hitting me.
Yep.
Like he did with Drago.
Yep.
And then they go to a different space.
Yep.
And it was like, okay. I'm like, they're San Diego's getting chunks of yards at a time. They're moving the ball. And then defense said, time to shut it down.
It's
You cannot give Patty Mahomes any time.
They bend every team that they play. They bend, but they don't break. And when they do bend, when they do break, it's usually self-inflicted.
Yeah.
The Raiders game's the perfect example last year.
Uh-huh.
It's generally self-inflicted. They lose the turnover battle, and they put themselves in such a hole they can't get out of it.
Yeah.
So far this year, Mahomes' picks are coming early in the games. They're stupid throws. Yep. Where you can tell he's not comfortable with the left tackle situation yet. So he's kind of getting
no.
Yeah, so you can tell he's not comfortable. You're back to now Rashee Rice is gone. You didn't even get a taste of Hollywood. It's taken Travis a little time to warm up, and Travis still Travis. He looked a lot like Travis yesterday. If
people
you're
don't
still
realize is like with Travis, even I think with Patrick, when Patrick's in his 9th year,
mm-hmm.
Travis is the 10th year.
Yep.
That he's by age wise still a very young man. He's in his 30s, 30, 33, something like that.
Yeah, I think he's 30.
31, 32, something like that. So you have realized that I always use it as the adage of, he's going to get his.
Oh, yeah.
If people worry about, he's not being productive, you know what? I think Andy knows how to, he pretty much let him and Pat do what they want to do. You guys earned it. You come to play, you play. But when it's time to turn it on, you need to turn it on.
Yeah. And
he's out. Like, I didn't realize he was out, did a TV series. I didn't know that.
Busy man.
They had a game and then they go see the US Open together. They out having a good time.
And he was honest when he said, like, stats and shit don't matter to me anymore. He's got them all. Like, the only person he's chasing for the greatest all time is Gronk.
That's it.
And
even Gronk saying he's him.
Yeah, and like right now, some might argue he's already better because, like you said, he wants another championship. You take Kelsey's career right now; it goes up against any tight end in football. You add a third Super Bowl, or if he decides to stay, say we don't win this year, say we bounce back and win one again.
Yeah,
the pedigree is at that point untouchable. Like, and then you add the persona, the fame, the podcast, the everything, and in his case, when you're voted the second most annoying player in football, It's like it's
Yeah.
actually like that's a shout out if you think about
Yeah.
it. It really is, especially because that's all fan bases that just fucking hate that you're like that you're living right. You take that man and like he's gonna have his games, and to this day when you're a tight end and you're 34 years old tight end that's drawing team's best cornerback, or you're getting spied by the two deep safeties and the linebackers are coming to pick you up, so you make Rashee Rice so open, or whoever
Yeah.
it is now, whether it's going to be Xavier Worthy or basically any other guy on our team except Sky Moore who fucking sucks and needs cut. Outside of him, then Travis is gonna, like you said, Travis is gonna get his, and then he's gonna open up stuff for other guys. And if Kareem, I'll tell you what, if that's the Kareem Hunt we're gonna get,
Yeah.
the 15 carry guy and 70
Yeah.
yards, and we're 4 and 5 yards a carry, like vintage big strong running Kareem Hunt, then and like you said, with Veach, then boom, home run. He knocked it out of the park again. Because we're gonna have to rely on that.
I will give it because I sat there and said like Kareem put us on the offense on the back and ran. You still have CEH. You still have P9 or whatever.
P Ryan.
P Ryan.
And Crocky Dundee's going to be all right, man. He just it's a rookie who runs the ball low.
Rookie does rookie things.
Yeah,
I had it. He's. When I sat there and he fumbled.
Yeah,
I said we need to go the program on his ass.
Right. Yeah,
and he needs to go.
This is football.
Give him the ball. So anybody else brings me this ball back,
it's your ass.
Dude, you were never born.
And see,
he needs to do that on him.
And a lot of things might open up too. Here in a couple weeks, the trades. You'll have trades coming.
Yeah.
So that kid will be fine. The trades are coming up. Like Chiefs may be able to sneak a wide receiver off of somebody that, they might be able to pull something off still.
If Rashee is out for the year.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, you still have, like I said, you still got Juju. You still have, Travis. Man, people forget about Gray.
Yeah. He's solid.
He's like the tight end group alone is solid.
They sneaky.
And it's like, okay, so you have to start making moves, more plays for the tight ends.
Mm-hmm. They sneakily, not sneakily, whatever you want to say is a word. They quietly added Jody Fortson back. Yeah, so Jody Fortson, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's another big tight end with the TCU boy. Their tight end room is pretty solid.
And then you get Pacheco back, by end of November?
Hopefully, yeah.
I mean, they said, 6 weeks?
Yep.
So, I mean, when you think September, we're already on week 2 of that.
Mm-hmm.
So you go through all October, you get him back around maybe mid-November, going into like the holiday season.
Yep.
Dude, you still have Kareem, and it's like, who do you put down? Okay, CEH you go ahead and push him down.
Yeah.
And I love the rookie. He's got a little fumble. Okay.
You
didn't see him the rest of the game.
And if he holds on to the football, like he'll learn from it. And when it gets into those cold months, like when the football gets harder and the weather gets colder, the way he runs is going to help them. Because when he holds on to the ball, no one wants to fucking have some crazy white boy running at you. One of them big old nutty white boys running at you. Bam! Whack!
Well, put it like this. If you watch the Ravens and the Bills game, just imagine seeing, King Henry, the way he was running the ball.
Yeah, hell no. Nope.
I don't even know why people get in his way.
Just so they can be on fucking film for getting in his way.
What's he's by them linebackers, man? Them secondaries, they just need to step out. I'm sorry, you don't have no more Ronnie Lotts in the league. Yeah. You don't have no more John John Lynch's in the league that will go up ahead of Steve Atwater's.
Yeah, and even
These
that,
boys,
they can't even hit him now like that. Even if they could, they'd have to touch his ass. So they're like,
these
"How are
boys
you trying to
are
hit this
prima
guy?"
donna.
Yeah,
These
that's a
boys,
grown ass man right there. That is a monster. And dude, and then when he top end speeds, they showed like his speed. Fuck, he was Xavier Worthy wasn't going that much faster than he was, and that's a tiny
no,
man. I'm like, that dude just and they're like, oh, he ain't got it anymore. I'm like, well, if that's what don't got it look like, then I would love to see what got it looks like.
yeah,
I mean, him and I don't, Saquon's lower to the ground,
yeah.
but I don't think I'm trying to hit Saquon in the thighs, and
I
I
just
think I'm
say
just getting out of Derrick Henry's way.
Saquon. Saquon's like a pit bull,
Oh
low
yeah,
to the ground.
yeah.
Saquon's
Saquon's
like that. He's at that Rottweiler.
when
Or
you try,
Derrick Henry's like that Rottweiler just coming at you.
you're just
Like
like I'm
you're
not
screwed
messing with
either
either
way,
one of these motherfuckers.
man. But I think the Chiefs are going to be fine. I know it. The injury's going to get him. I think he's going to clean it up.
Yeah,
I said it. I think I know what needs to happen with Travis. Just grow the beard back.
that's exactly it. He came
Just
in
grow the
looking
beard.
like fucking, like a 70 or like a 50s mobster with the Dillinger stash and the.
Yeah,
He just needs to get and the funky haircut. I think he was trying to
yeah,
like channel a little Peaky Blinder or something in there. I don't know what was going
yeah,
on, but yeah, bring back all. Just go Big Yeti. Your nickname's Big
yeah.
Yeti for a reason. Go
Uh,
back to Big Yeti. If Taylor don't like
go
it,
back.
be like, look, hun, like, hey, it's me. I'm
Football
the
season.
problem. It's me.
I
Yeah,
will.
just
I will do this once football season is over.
it'd be fine. Should be
I
fine.
mean,
She'll get over it.
what's your skinny little ass going? It's going to tickle you even more.
Yeah, just let
Like,
it
calm
happen.
down.
It's a big boy season. It's fun.
Big boy season,
Man, I'll tell you what,
man.
too. Like in the Chiefs' schedule, like they've already played about as tough as you can get, and it doesn't get
Yeah,
any easier. Like
no,
they're gonna grind. So getting out to a 4-0 start is awesome, and the fact that our division still looks like straight ass cheeks is amazing. But like you got the Saints on Monday Night Football, but
and they ain't looking good.
Carr's gonna be Carr, so I feel good about that. But then you got the Niners, you
Yeah,
still got the Bills, you got the Texans, and you got the Steelers still on there. But then in between there, you
Ooh,
got the fucking Raiders, the Chargers,
yeah.
the Panthers. But now you don't even know if you want to play the Panthers. Old Red Rocket comes in there and just dealing.
Oh man, I tell you what, they'll be fine. They'll be tested.
Oh yeah,
I think all they keep saying is just get to the playoffs.
that's all they need. They'll be fine.
Get to the playoffs. They'll win the division. They'll get to the playoffs, and then you'll see all of a sudden Kelsey has the beard going after a week. You know, go ahead and he'll hit high octane mode. Patty's scrambling and dropping dimes
Exactly.
like Magic Johnson on the run, and and stuff like that.
They just need to
It,
win this third one and then get up there. And when they're talking, just be like,
that's
"All right, we got our three
that's
Lions.
it.
It's your turn. Go ahead."
But man, uh, how's high school football going?
Um.
Still struggling?
Uh. Well, let's break down the last couple weeks. I have a hard time with this.
Yeah,
We're not winning. We're not looking very good in losing.
yeah,
It's the boys are playing really hard.
yeah,
They are very inconsistent,
yeah,
and that's. But I mean, there's some positives and there's some negatives. There's
yeah.
they shoot themselves in the foot a lot. They get themselves in some winnable situations, and then the discipline comes
Mm-hmm,
out where we're jumping off sides or we're holding and
mm-hmm.
we're shooting ourselves in the foot. And I say this in the best way ever because a lot of, believe it or not, some of them do watch us and listen to us. They're working their asses off. I'll give them that.
Good.
I know it can be stressful for them,
Yeah.
The powers that be and the offense we run don't necessarily, in my personal opinion, but what do I know? I'm just sitting watching.
Yeah.
Uh, don't math right to what they're built to do.
Yeah.
I mean, they have some talent to do it, but it's tough because they're missing. They're undersized quite a bit.
Yeah.
They got one of their more talented young kids back last week for homecoming, which he does make a difference, but it takes a team, as
Mm-hmm.
we all know. I wish that, me personally, I wish that they would throw the ball more on small, like more quick hitter routes, like some stuff to
Yeah.
get behind the linebackers, because
Yeah.
Lawson's always been a running. We run the ball a lot. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like, I always kind of think of Remember the Titans. Give it time, it'll
Yeah.
work like Novocaine. Well, it's not
Yeah.
working like Novocaine. It doesn't work that way. So a lot of times they stack the box or they get their stunts, and we just get worked pretty good. Uh, we got some pretty talent, like, and I'm not just biased to my kid either, but like they've got some young kids that are talented and stuff, and I'd
Yeah.
love to see them get the ball more, like,
Yeah.
and hurry the offense up a little bit, because what we've seen so far, and this is me and several of the dads and a lot of people that have, I respect their sports opinions, that have watched them a little bit, they seem to do better when they don't have time to think, as many high school
Uh-huh.
kids do.
Yeah.
They're much better at reacting and getting in a flow of stuff. That's not happening right now, so it's just rough. So
Yeah.
they're 0. I want to say, God, how many games have we played to run it together? Because it's been pretty rough. 0-5, I believe.
Yeah.
Uh, 2 games, I am 150,000% certain they should have won.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were the more talented team. I'm not gonna roll into why I think they lost, but I think the boys did enough to win both games. The boys did enough to
Yeah.
win both games. That Having said that, I think you can pick up what I'm putting down there.
Yeah.
They did their part. I feel confident. This last game, I mean, they played some. You know what? And you know how small schools are, man. There's some, when you have a group of older kids, like seniors and stuff, like a
Mm-hmm.
pretty good group of them. Like in smaller schools, like it sticks out pretty good. Like, especially if they're
Mm-hmm.
like kids that have been there together for a long time.
Yeah.
That camaraderie and that teamwork and that stuff, like it shows. So we played a couple teams like with a pretty solid amount of seniors, like Higginsville, Ernst, Michael Ernst, his kid,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
his group, man, they've been together since they were babies, and they're like the whole
Yeah.
core of them. So like, it's a solid group. We played a mid-buck team, that's this past week for homecoming. That sucks when you get boat raced at home for homecoming, but they played a mid-buck team that was very, very disciplined in what they did. They kept doing
Yeah.
exactly what they did, and it worked. We got a good chance this Friday. We played West Platte.
Mm-hmm.
New coach, kind of where we're at, kind of in between. Like, they've got some talent, but they're not great.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be, if the boys play well, to put themselves in a situation to have a chance to win, and we'll see what situations after that gets called for
Mm-hmm.
them. You know, are we going to run the ball on 3rd and 10 14 times and run an offense where we have one receiver and got a tight end and try to run the ball 47 times a game and see if it
Yeah.
works? We shall see. But it's kind of, I have my I have my opinions on it. I mean, I hope, I love the coaches that they have there.
Yeah.
All 13 of them. It's a lot. I know it's a lot of work. I can only imagine. So,
Well,
like I said,
you need a head coach, you need a
exactly.
offensive coordinator, you need an
Yep.
offensive line coach, you need a tight end coach at the high school level, you need a running back coach.
Yep. Well, and I hate to say this, because I really, I love what they're doing there and stuff, and I'm always going to support them. But it was really
Yeah.
frustrating. We went to the big old town of Hamilton, and they had a total of 5 coaches, 3 on the sideline, and we still got our ass whipped. So, begs the question.
Well,
I don't know what was
I
in that playbook, but it had enough of 13 coaches in it.
See, this is the part where I love about talking high school football with you. A lot of people do will understand this is you went to Lawson,
Mhm.
you you graduated from Lawson, all that stuff. So I think what I always talk about with sports wise, the high school ball and stuff like this, and when you come from a small town and you still live in the small town and you
Mhm.
kids, whatever, go to the
Yep.
small town that you guys come up in, you're
Mhm.
still tied to the community. You're still tied to the football programs and sports programs,
Yep.
especially when your kids are involved in it.
Yeah.
And, it's like, I always go back to saying is where myself, you know, my kids will be going to a big 6A school.
Mhm.
Uh, I've gotten to pay more attention to the high school side of theirs and not just my alma mater.
Mhm.
Uh, because I tell you what, my alma mater's getting just bitch slapped all over the field. They got a new coach this year, but when you're playing the likes in the district of Kearney, and if people know Kearney, Missouri, that Kearney is one of
That
the top
there's,
ranked,
yeah,
in the state.
that's a
But
juggernaut.
yeah, and it's fun to watch,
Mhm.
because you guys have, like you said, a lot of these boys in small towns all come up through Pee Wee together, play middle school, junior high, whatever you call it, together, and they roll up to the high school together.
Yep.
So they grow and know each other, and there's, of course, more kids come in and whatnot. Where, uh, where I'm at, we have a big 6A high school, and we have two middle schools that roll into the high school.
Mhm.
Uh, but it's fun to watch these young boys, watching the middle school age boys,
Yeah.
the middle school boys play football and realize you see the talent and you go, man, in 4 years,
Yeah.
and when you boys are juniors and seniors, of what that high school program could look like,
Right.
where you see it too, it makes it fun, man, and it's like I'm enjoying right now is watching my boy play. They're playing pretty good ball right now.
Yeah.
It's for middle school for what it is.
Hey.
He's out there competing. The teams are competing.
Mhm.
They, they're sitting 2-0 on the season right now. They got one
Cowboys.
tomorrow.
All right.
Um, now they start playing some of the local middle schools that we have two high schools in the area.
Mhm.
So they're playing one of the other middle schools that lead into one of the other high schools tomorrow.
Heck yeah.
So, it's like you have all those little rivalries that
Oh
where
yeah.
you guys have downs.
Oh yeah.
Some of these guys play baseball together. Some of these
Mhm.
boys know each other from outside of school. So there's a lot of jaw jacking back and forth. I have in 2 weeks, uh, a, a friend of his that they grew up playing baseball together, and they still keep in contact together. So it's like that one
Oh yeah.
circled
Oh
on
yeah.
this schedule. Oh, we get to play. Oh, and that happens to be the other middle school they both will combine to go into the high school.
Uh huh.
And it's kind
Okay.
of course, it's built up to be a big game because they're going to do it on the high school field. So you got that stuff, man, and
Oh yeah.
it's fun to watch high school football in that aspect
And
and
man,
see.
you think about it.
Go
So
ahead.
like, I coached this whole. Okay, so the whole junior class,
Yeah,
like a good portion of these boys, we coached in baseball.
yeah,
So like, this is me coming into Braden's life when he's in seventh grade, eighth grade. Then you had me seventh grade summer, eighth grade summer, or eighth grade summer, seventh grade, and then you go into seventh grade summer, eighth grade summer, with me helping coach the boys in baseball.
uh-huh.
Me, Jeremy, and Dustin. So, and Matt. So you have us coaching them, and then like you get, they, you know how it is. They kind of become your kids.
Yes.
So, so
I say
you
that,
might,
and I know you know with this.
yeah, and so like when you see them, some excel, some do not, some go off to do their other sports and stuff. But at the end of the
Yeah,
day, like every one of them, you want to be
yeah,
successful, or you want them to like get the best out of sport, because for a
yeah,
lot of them, this is it. This is
Yeah.
after
It is.
and this is going to be
Yeah.
a lot of them. A couple of them, few of them might go on to play college ball, and I hope they do.
Yeah.
But for a lot of them, this is going to be it. So, they're in their junior year. They went through this last year. They're going through it again. And
Yeah.
they you see it they work pretty hard. You can see it in a lot of them. Like
Yeah.
they're getting as big as physically they can, given the
Yeah.
situation. There's always more work to be done. I'm not going to sit here and say they
Yeah.
did the most, because I'll never say
Yeah.
that. But they worked hard, and they're busting their ass and stuff. So you want to see them. You want to see them get a dub. You want to see when they are working hard, like that. They're getting everything committed to them that they're committing to like to everyone else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is. You start to grow and you commit to your teammates.
Mm-hmm. And you want them to
It,
you want that whole commitment from the leaders
mm-hmm.
to the players,
Yeah.
and you want that to go both ways. So it's not, you know,
The the
you know what I
joy,
mean.
like you were gonna say, now it's like the joy you get because I still, it's like a lot of the boys that I've coached this past couple seasons, a lot of them are kind of within the same middle school.
Mm-hmm.
So I always get a kick out of watching them play a different sport
Right?
and
Yeah.
seeing them and what they do. There's a couple of them I wish I'd see on the football field because I think they'd probably be absolute great football players.
Absolutely.
But they decide to not do it or stick to do something else, which I cheer them on.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, it's like you get that kind of when you hear them say, "Hey, coach," when they still refer to you as coach.
Yep.
You do, man. You make sure that they're doing good and make sure that I always tell them like, man, you doing good out here, you behave and all that stuff. But the ones that are playing football and you go, okay, he's a year ahead of where my boy is, or they're the same year, and you go, the relationships they build, and then they that you start to hear more that, oh, it's fun playing with them. I don't want this to stop. I don't
Yeah.
want. I can't wait till we all get to high school ball together.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear that, man, and and it's just so like you start playing for something bigger than what it is.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's why I said I think that's why when you think of high school ball, even college ball, to understand of yeah, we grew up together playing football in Lawson, or yeah, we grew up together playing football at Grandview, or my son we grew up playing football sports together in Blue Springs. And it's just like now, man. I've ran into a lot of guys, especially out here that I went to high school with, that we played ball together with, and it's easy to still talk about what you did
Yeah. Yeah.
and what you did in high school and the fun stuff you did in high school because you remember that stuff, and then you go, man, I hope our boys have that same
Yeah.
kind of thing going on
It's where you bit
and
like
all that.
in sport too. I think with sport with me, like I've always looked at, it didn't matter what sport it was, that camaraderie and stuff is where you started learning to like truly be a man.
Yeah,
Like that was the building
it
blocks
is.
for like the foundation to like
Yeah,
how to succeed. Like everything that you ever do in a team or any kind of setting with multiple people, or just how you take losing, how you handle
yeah,
adversity, all of that. I think, and I think with football, where you see it a lot of is like I see the bonds that some of the guys that graduated with me have created through football, that like you still see it like with them, like.
yeah,
And I think like I said, so me coaching those kids and stuff, like having that, you want them, that's going to be there, but you also want them to
yeah,
get a couple W's in the process.
yeah.
And
And
the good news, I think the good news is you're talking about small town rivalries.
yeah,
So the way our schedule's setting up right now, like it's already there. So the last game Lawson has before districts,
uh
they play our arch rival Lathrop. So
huh.
they're not good either at all. So
Do we got a
yeah,
toilet boy
so
preview
so
going?
I'm really hoping we can pull out a couple wins before then. But in the worst case scenario that we don't, and we
Yeah,
have a toilet bowl toss up
yeah,
to to get it on for the end of the regular season, I just know
yeah,
in my heart as a small town guy, like you said, I just know in the heart that we'll still beat the shit out of them. So that we all know that. So as long as we know
Man,
that, everything's okay.
and I don't know much about what Lawson does. I got to give shout out to you high schools out there now that make uh through social media, through YouTube and all that stuff, man, more accessible to watch games. Especially since in our area, if you're old school like you remember,
Paper.
when we had Metro Sports
Yep.
and the newspaper.
Yep. And the paper. I was.
At Metro Sports, you had the game of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And you were always looking to be able to do that, or you always kept up on the newspaper with it and stuff like that.
When I moved away,
Shout
man,
out,
that's how I did it.
shout out to these schools that actually get video cameras out there, have production kind of, but you're teaching these young high school kids the production side of getting into a different job,
Yeah,
a different
exactly.
trade, which is
Hell,
freaking awesome.
you go to Carney and
But
you're like watching ESPN the Ocho.
I tell you what, man, Blue Springs District, their schedule was lined up with, they had 3 ranked Missouri ranked high school teams they'll face on their schedule. And that's even before they get into districts. No, I take that 4. Because let's see, they played Lee Summit, which if you're from the area, Lee Summit is a powerhouse this year.
I was gonna say,
Then they run into the absolute juggernaut of Lee Summit North.
yeah.
And if you are from the area and on the Missouri side, you know there's 2 big juggernauts when it comes to football. Lee Summit North is one, and Liberty North is the other. Don't get me wrong, you have all these other schools. Then you have Blue Springs South on the schedule, who's also ranked.
Yep.
And then they fall in, and they still play that rivalry game that goes back to the way early 2000s with Rockers High School. And everybody who's ever been around Kansas City knows about Rockers High
All
School.
Rockers.
Because they played even on the national level.
Yep. They used to be. Was it Tony Severino?
Oh, yes.
Yep.
So, and there's always been a big rivalry when Blue Springs was huge and Rockers was huge. But you know, you look at that schedule, you go, Jesus Christ. And it's fun to watch these types of games, and then you can sit down with your boy and not feel like you have to run and go catch every game, even though they're fun, and go, this is the type of stuff where if you want to play high school ball,
Yeah.
what
This
you're
is
going to go up against.
right.
So
Exactly. And then turn on ESPN and let them watch like 2 of the Texas schools and be like,
good Lord.
they're like, what?
Or
What?
watch Bishop Gorman versus Mater Day.
Right.
Where Bishop Gorman's got, you know, out of the 33 kids on their sideline,
Yep.
like half of them got D1 scholarships, and
This
Major
guy-
D's got
yeah.
the same. I mean,
Where are these guys going to every college in the country, son? To every college in the country.
it's absolutely ridiculous.
Hey, man.
But, man,
Speaking of football, we got to talk about college for a minute. I'm just going to do this, just so you know, and then I got to ask you a question because what the hell happened to the quarterback? I thought that guy was like good. Wasn't he supposed to be like really good? The running back's still good.
Devin Neal's absolute stud.
Yeah, he's a freak daddy. What the hell happened to that
wide
quarterback?
receiver?
Yeah,
We got wide receiver, the white boy.
Yeah.
Stud.
Yeah.
We have our two corners that are absolute studs.
Yeah, what the fuck happened?
I mean, one of them, for God's sake, one of his name is Kobe Bryant.
Got trust in that.
We have lost. We are now 1-3. Yeah, 1-3. Could possibly, matter of fact, we came into Saturday as a 7-point favorite to end up losing by 7 points, I believe.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in Lawrence, Kansas right now. Um, I, thank God that we all have two schools we may cheer for. I'm a huge Notre Dame guy. Even Notre Dame is looking kind of don't know what the fuck's going on up there. Uh,
I'll tell you what, Bama looks like Bama. Whew,
Everybody in the world thought Bama was going to take a step back,
fuck no. No.
but I think what happens is you have the joy of playing in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, pick the perfect coach for the situation.
Uh, Travis Hunter is an absolute beast.
Travis Hunter's a freak.
Uh,
That guy's not okay. The Ohio
if I
State wide receiver, not okay. Just go to the NFL. Quit playing around with these kids. Even though you're a kid.
the latest ranking came out, and Alabama said we're just going to jump over everybody, go to number one.
They're like fucking Arch Manning. We don't care.
They fuck Texas.
Yeah.
Uh,
The SEC's stupid.
I looked at the top 10. You had what, 5 SEC schools ranked, or 12? The playoffs 12. You had 5, 6 SEC, 4 Big Ten, and then you had like one ACC and one Big 12 team.
Yeah.
Like, my biggest thing is SEC. God Lord, they're different.
Yeah, they should call it NFL. I don't know why they're fucking around. Not at this point. Like these receivers that are coming in, it's not even cute anymore. Like this, you can't. This is unreal. These are like
Alabama's freshman.
He's 17.
17 years old. 17.
He looked like he's playing a child's game. Like then the Ohio State guy, you're just like, fuck, I'm just gonna throw the ball somewhere.
Yeah.
He gotta do nothing else. Just throw it down the field. That guy, he's gonna catch it. And then Ohio State got the other stud wide receiver. Anyway, they're just like, we're just gonna throw it up here somewhere. It's like, what in the fuck? And then, yeah, everybody in the SEC just needs to. Ohio State and everybody in the SEC just needs to just say, fuck it, we're just going to the NFL. Fuck college, don't need it.
Well, man,
unless they're getting an education, they don't need to be playing no football. Just go to the NFL.
This is it.
Jesus.
Before we go, I did have one big question for you. You kind of led me into this, man. Because I know usually we talk about youth side of things. We talked about a little bit of high school. And I had a couple conversations with some football coaches and some young baseball coaches, and me being a baseball coach myself. And you kind of dwindling. I mean, you've coached before. In the youth side of sports, is fall baseball really necessary? It was a topic of discussion. And I'm just curious because we had this discussion. And fall baseball in October when you're in the MLB, I totally get it.
Yeah.
High school baseball isn't going on in the fall.
No.
Why are we having baseball players play till November?
That's a good question. I think I kind of have two views of it because, when I stopped playing football, which I would probably argue back in my Uncle Rico days, I could probably argue that I might have been better at football than baseball had I gave a shit about football more as far as playing it. But my heart was in baseball, and it gave me an opportunity why on Friday nights the boys were playing football. I could still go see all my buddies play, and I could still be competitive and do what I love doing at the same time. So I got to play baseball instead of just having to decide between, do I want to play a fall sport or am I not going to play anything while they're doing that. So if you love it like I do,
Mm-hmm.
or did not, or like you do, or like we love baseball. For the
Mm-hmm.
kids that love it and want to, it's the same thing with year-round wrestling.
Yeah.
Like if you totally are dedicated to it and that is your love, then I think it's as wonderful as it gets
But
because fall ball's awesome. But
does that help with burnout?
that's what I'm saying. But there's also this. I don't recall back in our day playing 75 to 100 and whatever
No.
games during the summer. Neither.
No.
Like, I remember playing some tournaments. By some tournaments, I mean like once a month, not
Mm-hmm.
3 times a month, or if you're the Radicals, every weekend of the month.
Mm-hmm.
And then playing, if you're playing league ball at all, or if you're not,
Mm-hmm.
practicing 3 nights a week. I don't remember any. We didn't do that just flat out. It
Yeah.
wasn't a thing yet.
Yeah.
Like, and I played baseball as much as anybody for my age back then. I think I played as
Yeah.
much as you could possibly play baseball. I feel
Yeah.
like, and so for me it wasn't a burnout because we didn't play near as much. Nowadays, I don't even think fall ball is necessary because hell, your regular season for half of you, yeah, it can either end before 4th of July or it doesn't until the fucking end of August or when school
Yeah.
starts. So to me, if you're
I
playing that much, yeah, that's burnout. Like unless you're
I think
totally loving it, great. But I don't think we need to be rolling tournaments into October. It's too much.
I had this conversation and it was kind of twofold what we had because some of them are like it's unnecessary and some of them are like it's necessary. And of course, you when you think about it, it's like the full fledged baseball guys felt it was necessary,
Absolutely. And I and
and
I totally see where they're coming from with that.
the football guys were like felt it was unnecessary. I was kind of in between. Um, and the reason why I say in between is I think all kids should, uh, if if it's that season you play that sport,
Yeah. Yeah.
it shouldn't be held against you. And I think that's where a lot of coaches get where things go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of made a social media post or TikTok or something that's saying, you know, in June and July it's baseball season.
Mm-hmm.
It's not football season, so you shouldn't hold mandatory or make stuff mandatory for kids who are kind of enthralled into that baseball season.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
kind of goes vice versa, you know, because in my eyes, I grew up where you played by the seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, did it run into a little bit over football season sometimes, baseball season, yes, depending on where you went.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember having to be at football practice in the beginning and still had baseball games in the evening, but it was nothing like to where it is today,
Mm-hmm.
where people are playing all year round. Um, I get that some kids that their love for baseball and that's all they want to play, but I think at the end of the day, what happens is they're the ones that get burned out quicker
Yeah.
because constant baseball, 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 baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I also go, I think what happens is because of big business, the business end comes into it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Uh, you don't have that many more independent teams
Mm-hmm.
as you used to. You don't have all the Legion teams like you used to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am all for high school kids. I think I am all advocate for high school kids and high school ball. And I think that high school baseball players should have a summer baseball season just as well.
Yeah.
But, it ends where it ends in July, August. I mean, that's kind of what we did.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I said football, I get the conditioning days and getting there to lift weights. I'm all for that stuff too.
Right.
But to me, it's all like let kids be kids. It's football season. I'm sorry. There's some parents that probably saying, "How come we're not playing yet?"
Yeah. No,
I'm
I
all
get it.
about getting the boys together, letting them. I got a new crew this year, so I'm getting to know
Yeah.
them. Do I think we're ready to take a field yet? No, not yet.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have the talent to? Probably, but you know, I'm still trying to figure out where I could put guys.
Yeah. Right.
I just don't want to spend money just to put someone out there,
No, I get it.
just to appease to somebody.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, enjoy the downtime because I think that makes you that much more hungrier
Yeah.
when its season starts.
Right. No, I agree.
Because and that was kind of my argument with them. It's like if big business wasn't playing into as the business aspect of clubs wasn't playing into this,
Mm-hmm.
then I think fall ball would kind of go by the wayside.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
They now you have these big complexes putting in turf, so it makes them more accessible to play all year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting till the fact that we play baseball tournaments up to freaking Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean that's sad. It
It,
shouldn't be. I mean, but
no,
at the same time, I get it.
well, like you
But
said, man, it's more business driven than it is like than it. Like I said, back when we were doing it, it wasn't like this. Like
yeah,
fall ball back then was, you know, a tournament and it
yeah,
was league ball.
yeah,
It was just to go a couple nights a week, play a couple double headers, enjoy
yeah,
playing in the cooler weather, like the
yeah,
crisp of the, and you had
yeah,
that crisp fall air and shit. And I loved
yeah,
it, but it wasn't
yeah,
like it is now, where like you said, the big business parts in it, and we're hosting fucking 32 team,
yeah,
212 team, fucking fall festival tournaments and pumpkin
yeah.
fest and all that shit. Which I'm right there with you. Like I said, I see it both ways. Like
Well,
I get if you loved it, like if you genuinely love it, and you're one of those kids that like,
yeah,
and that's a rare breed. But I could also see too if you like it and you want to do it, but yeah, getting burnt out and shit. Plus, enjoying the time off. When you get multiple kids in multiple
yeah,
sports, there's no fucking way to
yeah,
add more than you like. It's just you know, I mean, I look at just here. There's three. you know, Katie's band schedule is not near as hectic as the sports schedule is,
yeah,
but when all three of them are going, it's
yeah,
like nonstop. So you're
yeah,
here, you're here, you're here, you're here, you're
yeah,
here, you're here. So to any of them you get a break from, so they can try to do
yeah,
something else maybe and see if they enjoy it, or
yeah,
just a break in generals. I mean, I'm all for that too. Like like I said, if it was just for the sport, I'm all for it.
yeah,
If it's just to feed pockets and fatten up more fucking
yeah.
association dough.
But and that's
Much like I always saw slow pitch. I always thought there should have been a cutoff for slow pitch too, but then
it,
boo and
it,
brew.
it-
Then there's boo and brew, which proves that difficult. And
well,
opposite of
and
that,
I think that you know, I would that could be a topic for a whole nother show of feelings of slow pitch softball. But I really kind of wanted to get your thought on that because we have the fall ball classic coming up and
yeah,
starting tomorrow.
yeah,
Football's hot and heavy right now. High school
hmm
football's hot and heavy. We got kids asking out other kids to homecoming using signs and flowers and teddy bears.
don't get me fucking started on that nonsense. Jesus Christ, it's so I don't. If someone can explain to me why it needs to be so much, you had to do that. You struck a fucking chord there. I don't understand why we need to fucking have a 6 hour arts and crafts day and come up with our best goddamn poetry to ask somebody at homecoming. I'm like, just go up to the girl and ask her. Why's it got to be some big fucking to do? And now, like,
Everything's a production, man.
fuck, man, you got to buy him a fucking puppy, get him a tank of gas, a gift card, like write a fucking goddamn 6 page goddamn poetry. It's too much.
Hey,
I'm like,
we'll have to just say, hey, you want to go to homecoming?
right? Well, see, I'll tell you what. Shout out to Braden. This is awesome. So I'm asking Ashley all week. I asked Braden. I'm like, "You going to homecoming?" And he's kind of like, "Mm." I'm like, "I'll take that." You know, of course, Katie's all for it. Got to get all dolled up and do all the nonsense, girly thing. I get it. Go, you know, little girls get excited for that shit. I get it. Braden's just kind of like, so after the football game Friday, or should I say Thursday, I ask him, I'm like, dude, he walks in for practice. I'm like, are you going to this goddamn dance or not? And he's like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, are you okay? He's like, I'm going with Connor. And I'm like, Connor, who has a date? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, well, that's cool, man. And then I'm like, do you have a date? And then he's kind of, and of course he like looks at me and asks you like, well, yeah, sort of. I'm like, you do? And he's like, well, we're going to friends. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, well, you didn't have to make some big stupid sign or anything. He's like, no. And I'm like, my man. Of course, then he doesn't have like a corsage for her. So Ashley's running around Friday morning. Ashley's running around fucking every flower shop all over the place to get a nice corsage to match her dress. And we're trying to get Braden like in some clothes. Of course, trying to get that boy in pants is like a dress thing. So we got some jeans. We got a polo shirt. And he borrowed my cowboy boots, but then he realized that they weren't working with his pants and they were too big. So we went right back to the Nike Air Maxes, of course, naturally. So we've got like the most basic, subtle, I'm going to the dance, but I'm not a dance guy. And I'm like, I could totally respect this. This is what it needs to be.
I had to get it in there, man.
Oh, man, dude. And man, at the football game, everywhere they go, I'm like, what the hell's going on over there? And it's like this. I'm like, what is this fucking? What's going on here? It's just too much. I'm like, hey, people, bring back simplicity. Hey, I get this shit, but
I'm the
goddamn.
same way. Hey, I think what happens is guys are so scared of rejection.
Yeah.
That if they show up and put on the theatrics and add the puppies, add the signs, add the flowers, and have your
you ain't gonna get no, right?
Have your buddies dancing behind you and the cameras facing you and everything else, that she can't say no.
I'll tell you what, one of these days, you ain't wrong, but one of these days, one of these little crafty little son bitches, these funny motherfuckers, is gonna get on there. They're gonna draw like they're gonna make one of them little flip it books.
Yeah.
They're gonna make a flip it book, and it's gonna be like a stick figure and another stick figure. And as this book plays out, they're gonna be flicking that book. Before you know it, there's gonna be like some, and they're gonna be like, and then it's gonna say question mark homecoming. And then them parents are gonna be like, all right, maybe this shit's overkill now. I'll be like, it took that to figure it out. I bet you're hoping now he would have just said, I'm gonna go ask them just a subtle, hey, you want to go to the dance with me? Don't need all this. Fuck, man, it costs $450 to ask a kid to dance. Jesus Christ, I'm terrified of prom. Like, I'm horrified.
Hey, with that, I got no more else to say, man.
Jesus, man.
Oh, well, on that note, I think we're done for the day. Man, Rose, let's go for the sweep. You got the Grizzly, you get one of your
Well,
North.
my Sasquatch is at one of them Noble Norths.
Yep. Noble North. I've looked at that. They got some sweet stuff.
Yeah. I haven't bought any in a while because, of course, kids are expensive. But
yeah,
I'm getting there. Like, I was talking to Ashley the other day, and I said, Ashley. She started laughing because I just literally out of nowhere just hit her with Ashley. And she's just like, oh, God, what? And I'm like, I need to get some hats. She's like, you don't need any hats. And I'm like,
yes,
you always need hats. I'm like, I need hats like humans need water. It's just how it works.
Yeah.
She's still laughing. She's like, fine. I'm like, yes.
Hey, they don't understand.
No.
They don't.
Nope. I try to relate it to shoes and makeup. But
you know what you should have did? Should have had the kids come behind you, and you should have had a sign. It had the kids put on a production thing, which is, instead of will you go to homecoming, that says, may I buy a hat?
Yeah, can I buy some hats, please? That ain't no shit. Maybe I'll do that so when she gets home, she gets back to the airport Friday and I pick her up, I'll have a sign out front that says, hats, please.
Check yes or no.
Yeah. Can I get some hats? Check yes or no. Will you be my hat date?
Well, man, with that, we're out of here. Oh.